All right. Hello. We are joined in the media center with Robert Maleczka, the winner of the 2025 PRI Hoosier 500. After a spirited battle, especially in the closing stages, where obviously we went pretty green for most of the race, and it got a little hairy there at the end. First and foremost, Rob, congrats on the win and enduring the chaos that ensued in the closing stages. Rob, as you look at particularly the hybrid technology being implemented this week, the challenges we went through with iRacing's weather curveballs and things like that. What was it really like out there? How did things play out over the course of 200 laps and 500 miles? What were the conditions like, and how's this car maybe a little bit different from what it was before we endured the changes?
First stint or two. So those last probably 7, 8 laps of that first stint were pretty hairy, especially if you're in clean air. Um, I haven't turned right that much in India in a long time. Um, that was, it's nerve wracking, but it's also fun because it keeps you engaged and it really shows who the best and what we can do. But yeah, with the hybrid, I mean, there's so much more going on driving these cars. I mean, we're deploying once a lap now, regenning twice a lap, and if you don't deploy or regen at the exact right time, it can lose you a ton of time or even put you on the wall. So, we put a lot of emphasis on that and learning what to do, especially in different temperatures and how it affects the tire and optimal lap time. And I think you saw there, especially with Phil and myself, where we've done probably 4 or 5 thousand laps together, just swapping, and it's the speed you can create when two guys are at the top of their game and really comfortable with each other. Just kind of shows how fast we could really go and control the race from there.
Talking right now to Robert Maleczka, the winner of the 2025 PRI Hoosier 500. Rob, we had a little bit of a streaming issue at the beginning there, so if you could just again summarize your race. You mentioned at the top, how you felt Powerslide really did a great job of executing and using the cars that you guys have built to command this race. Kind of just recap that again for us one more time.
Yeah, at the very start, it helps us leaders that there's what 3 pace laps to begin the race because it's really close on the guys if they want to commit to the fuel save the entire time if they can make it. So it made our life pretty easy knowing that really no one could make it, especially with Alex Van de Sande. He's one of the best, if not the best, at fuel saving. And if he can't make it, no one else can. So good to know that. Took some pressure off of us and just knowing that we don't have to push every pit entry and not every tenth matters, right? So taking it done each time, not putting myself in too much trouble, communicating really well with the guys, especially when catching lap traffic, knowing the gaps and when you're going to expect dirty air and when you need to lift and things like that, tools wise as well. So, yeah, it's really honestly, I'm more happy for the team than myself. It's I guess kind of a shame what happened there, but it happens in real life, right? It happened in 2023 where my favorite driver, Marcus Ericsson, I believe got a bit robbed, but it's part of it. I guess now I'm glad I have it, but I think all the credit goes not to me, but to Phil and Alex Russell and all my teammates for working really well together and executing a great race.
You talk about alluding to the fact checking this one off the list. It's been a very successful last year or two for you as a driver, and knowing that this was still hanging out there. You obviously captured the pole award, and for the first time, I believe, a driver wins from the pole at the Hoosier 500. Just talk about the triumph there, and again, it is a team effort, certainly, but what's it mean to you to be able to accomplish this after a long 2 weeks here in December?
Yeah, just working on my craft over the last year and a half. Kind of before, my biggest weakness was definitely qualifying. And went to school learning from Alex Van Sant and Phil Kraus. They're probably the two best at Indy and Q for us. And learning kind of what I'm doing wrong, even though it's just 1 degree of wheel here, 1 degree of wheel there. And was really happy with that pole because I felt like I drove pretty well and put it all together. So really getting that done was my biggest hurdle, because I know I'm exceptionally good at kind of controlling my tires and getting through traffic in the race. And that was a big part of it. I honestly, to be frank with you, I don't really know what I do differently with saving the tires, but it seems like I can save tires better than anyone on our team by a significant amount, which makes zero sense to me. But it's definitely helpful, especially in those last 3, 4, 5 laps of the run where we were catching lap traffic multiple times and we were able to open up the gap. And we almost broke away a few times there, but Hugo, Adam, and Jason and Alex were able to keep up barely with us. And then obviously, as long as we keep us 7, 8 up front, we know we're going to race clean. We all have trust in one another, and we're happy if whoever wins that race. So
we'll wrap it up. We've got one question from one of our viewers. Logan asks, you obviously side by side with Adam Blocker coming to the line. Did you feel like you were going to get him coming out of turn 4? What was the confidence level as you were trying to track him down the front stretch?
Yeah, honestly, it goes back farther than that. We knew the hybrid was extremely powerful, and going down the back straight, Phil kind of just gave me the outside as a great teammate, and I had to deploy my hybrid fully. I know Ty deployed his full hybrid as well, just knowing the exact time it takes to deploy the hybrid. And once we were side by side into 3, I think Adam made a great move on the bottom. And knowing the track's only 2 lanes in 3 and 4, I knew Ty wasn't going to be an issue for me. And up to that, it was just, how am I going to win this race, right? And I regened the hybrid about, I think, 45% in the short shoe and entry to 4. Was able to lower my speed just a little bit more to get tucked in behind Adam. And I don't believe he had any hybrid left because he was fully flat out from there. And, I honestly think the hybrid most likely won me that race, because that extra boost you get for probably, I don't know, a second and a half, 2 seconds there I had it, gave me that margin to get by Adam and get the win.
Awesome. Well, congrats again, Rob. A perfect month of December, basically, by all accounts. Really appreciate you being a part of this year's Hoosier 500, and look forward to seeing you back at this race for many more years.
Yeah, thanks, Tanner, and thanks you and Ryan for putting all the work behind the scenes. It's cool to make us kind of feel like a bit big time for a week here, and I know you're very busy, so hopefully you enjoyed the show, and hope everyone else enjoyed it as well.
Awesome. That's Robert Maleczka, everybody, winner of the 2025 PRI Hoosier 500. All right, we're going to bring into the media center now a pair of Power Slide Team Hype drivers, Adam Blocker, our second place finisher today, the number 74 car, and Phil Kraus, our our third place finisher in the number 1 car. Let me go and handle our server muting. Thank you, Discord, for that. Okay, first I'll start with Adam. Obviously, a tight finish coming off turn four, a drag race to the start finish line. We just talked to Rob. He said he certainly had some hybrid left over. Tried to regenerate a little bit in the short shoot, and then used what he could coming down the stretch. What was your strategy as you tried to defend the lead at that point in time? And would you do anything differently, or could you do anything differently? Obviously, I've been in these positions too, and I didn't come out on the right end. So sometimes you're kind of stuck with what you got. What was your perspective of the finish there, Adam?
Well, for me, it was a bit tough because I restarted fourth, and I had to deploy off of two. I felt like to just have a shot, and
Yeah.
then Phil gave me the inside. I think because just playing the team game, which was nice because I think that's what got us a 1-2-3 and didn't allow Ty to be up there. But yeah, probably the only thing I could have done was I regened a little bit in the short shoot, but I could have regen more. But I think just by the scenario and how much Rob beat me by at the line, I think I would have had to regen and check up a lot in the short shoot. But my problem was I didn't have a good perspective of how close Phil and Ty were, and honestly, I didn't expect to be in that position from restarting fourth. So yeah, I mean overall, I probably don't deserve second because it took me most of the race to even kind of get in contention, just with how slippery the track was and everything. Like Phil and Rob were pretty strong, but obviously I'll take it with how it played out. But
Phil, we'll move to you now. Obviously, very, very much so in contention throughout the day, led 57 laps, was in the mix there at the end. Just talk about your race and how you saw the finish playing out.
Yeah. Honestly, pretty good race through and through. First few stints, I was just kind of saving behind Rob and Alex. I definitely knew that at the end of the first one, I probably had the pace on Alex, but I wasn't sure if the race was going to go green all the way at that point. So I knew I could stick onto their draft. So I just wanted to build a bit of a fuel and what would end up becoming if it did go green at the end of the race, a bit of a tire advantage as well. But I think it was the third stint, maybe the fourth stint. I'm pretty sure it was the third when we started catching lap traffic and I passed Alex, and then Rob and I controlled the race from there pretty well. Um, Late yellow is pretty unfortunate for sure, and then the last yellow was really the nail in the coffin, just because as the leader on a one lap dash at Indy, no matter what I do, there's nothing I can really do to win the race for myself. It's just maximizing the team result at that point. Once I saw that we were going to get a chance to have a one lap dash, that's pretty much the main thing that was on my mind.
You guys as a group, I know there was a little bit of discourse in the Discord server towards the end of the race. Some drivers taking shots at the power slide wall and things like that. And as you mentioned, Adam, you guys come away with a clean sweep of the podium. What's it mean to you to be established as clearly the best team at Indianapolis, not just right now. You've been there for a while. To control this race as you all did today. Obviously, a lot of effort goes into that behind the scenes. What's it mean to all you guys to excel at Indianapolis, where arguably it means the most to us as IndyCar drivers?
I mean, I felt like this time we really proved ourselves again because there was a big reset with the car, and there were some other teams that got our previous setups through people moving teams around and all that stuff. So theoretically, it should have been pretty close to complete reset for everybody. And yeah, just really proud of all the work we did. I think everybody has a good role in the team, and it was good prep for pro, all working together on it, and like that long green run, and it just having started a little bit further back, I got to see what some of the other cars were doing, and like we were good. Like I can't thank everybody on the team enough for all the work on the setup, and just really really proud of it. And nobody's car felt great because of how hot and slippery the track was, and like just the weight of the car now. But we were strong, so just definitely proud of the team, and I think it was a justified result.
Talking right now with Adam Blocker and Phil Kraus, our second and third place finishers today. Gentlemen, this question's open to either of you or both of you if you want to answer it. But obviously, we went through some extended green flag runs today. Were you surprised at all about how much the field actually spread out and how quickly? I was a bit surprised at the pockets that seemed to set up across the running order. And Adam, you mentioned you had a pretty good perspective of that, coming from near mid-pack, edge of the top 10, and working through some of those pockets. Did that throw you guys for a surprise or anything like that during the race, seeing how it ultimately played out really across the first 50 laps or so?
Yeah, to be honest, I don't think any of us were expecting the track to be as greasy as it was at the start, but that first stint especially, and a little bit the second stint, but mostly the first stint was really a struggle, and I'm saying that as the guy who was running in third. I can't imagine how it was deeper in traffic, but that first run's really what made most of those pockets appear, I feel, because everyone was fighting their car so much. Like, even our car was really struggling in those conditions to stay close to the cars in front. Like, you saw that Jason behind me was struggling to stay within a second at times. It was just, you really had to get up on the wheel and drive it. But just to build on the last question real quick that you asked Adam about the setup work that we did, I gotta say how proud I am of everyone on our team for what we did with this setup with that short turnaround, because there was a point in the race where we were running 1 through 7 with, I want to say, like a 15-second gap to the next car, which is almost unheard of at Indy. So
Yeah,
really proud of the effort everyone's put in to make an excellent race car, even if at times we were like, wow, this doesn't drive great, but it definitely had the pace.
In terms of conditions, I think, there's a lot of discourse in the Discord and everything during the week about iRacing weather bug right now, and it just seemed like that even though the track temp read 117, it seemed like it was much hotter. Like, we got a lot of us were planning on taking out rear wing during the race, and then we got in the first stint, I think 5 laps in, everybody's like, oh crap, like if anything, we're gonna have to add
Right.
front wing or add rear wing. Like, I know Rob was saying, like, he was getting loose like 15 laps into the first stint. Like, it was a bit of a surprise, a curveball for everyone, and we were probably a little bit light on downforce for that weather, but obviously it worked out. So
Nice work to the both of you guys. Obviously, a phenomenal effort across the team. Just opening the floor to each of you. Any closing thoughts on anybody you'd like to thank along the way? Your experience with this year's Hoosier 500. Obviously, both well-respected members in the community, and we really appreciate having the both of you here for sure.
yeah, I just want to first of all thank Tanner and all the guys that have helped put this on, Arjuna for broadcasting it, and Gary for all the work he's done all month. I think the event's definitely taken a step up this year with just the amount of promotion it's had, and the cool prizes, and just everything. It's really felt like kind of a cool, like similar, as close as you can get to a month of May experience on iRacing. So it's really cool. Yeah, just again, thanks to everybody on the team and everybody that was in the race that made it a pretty fun race. It was really clean overall. So yeah.
Yeah, as Adam said, first off, the big thanks go to you, Tanner, and you and Ryan for organizing this event and all the work you guys put into promoting, securing partnerships, and everything like that, because in my years running this event, this is definitely the biggest it has been by far. So, and then obviously Arjuna, the commentary crew as a whole, and stewards, because I know you had Connor there, and just everyone who made this possible. Big thanks to you guys, and as Adam said, the team for all their work, because, it's also like an excellent month of May simulation. It's a precursor to what we're going to have to do as a team for the Pro Series starting next month.
Yeah.
So it's nice to build that synergy now.
Well, again, appreciate the both of you, well-respected members in the community, and we really love having you a part of this event. Look forward to welcoming you back in December of 2026, and congrats again on filling out the podium with your team cars.
Cheers.
Thanks.
All right, that's Adam Blocker and Phil Kraus, drivers for Powerslide Motorsports. your podium finishers today at the PRI Hoosier 500. Well, that concludes today's post-race press conference. We will have more coverage of the PRI Hoosier 500 on thehoosier500.com. Also join in tomorrow night at 7 p.m. Eastern Time. We'll have the victory celebration where we'll talk to more drivers and cover everything that happened in the race at the PRI Hoosier 500. That's tomorrow night, 7 p.m. on the Hoosier 500 YouTube channel. Thank you to everybody who tuned in to today's race on the PRI Facebook and YouTube channels, and thank you to our sponsors, namely, first and foremost, our title sponsor, the performance racing industry, PRI. Thank you, Mike Good and JP Heinen and Jim Liao, everybody who helped bring this to life and the partnership that was with PRI this year. Really appreciate all of that. Thank you to Cusick Morgan Motorsports. We really enjoyed having Billy Morgan on this morning on our early pre-race show. And definitely a shout out to Phil Rodenbeck with Visitor Watch Company for providing an awesome bespoke PRI Hoosier 500 Visitor Watch crossover. Very cool to have you guys a part of it. And we have many more sponsors to thank, which we'll make sure we get to in tomorrow's victory celebration. But for now, thank you for watching the 2025 PRI Hoosier 500. We'll see you again tomorrow.